welcome back to this Neurosys presentation on e-commerce sites for people who are looking to start their own e-commerce site. So we talked about e-commerce sites and what it takes to go into it and what you really need to be aware of as a customer before you jump into an e-commerce project. In addition to that, what I'm now going to talk about is what it really takes to be a successful business online, right? Now again, there's no mantra here, but there are certain do's and don'ts, right, which can be arguably industry practices, and you can verify them or you could disagree with them. But based on what our experiences tell us, we have pretty much observed that business drives marketing and sales and not IT, right? Do not rely on your shopping platform to drive sales for you, right? You need to have a strategy. You need to understand what kind of incentives, how your product looks, how are you targeting the right customers online, who is your customer online. You need to think about all that. It doesn't matter whether you're using what platform you're using, or technology will not solve it for you. Technology will not do business for you. And those advertisements about, hey, you got like great orders coming, it doesn't work that way, really. I mean, you need to have an online presence which attracts the right customers to you and converts to business, right? There is a cost of acquisition also online that you need to understand, especially if you're doing digital marketing and you're doing you're paying for ads. There is a cost of acquisition, and if you're not doing this right, you're actually spending and blowing up money, and you're not going to be generating much revenue, right? And that's something again that most people don't understand, and it's a no-brainer, but it's just amazing how many people get it wrong. Then is the question of what is your ability to sell online impacted by? Typically, the cost of your product is important. Obviously, that's a factor anyway. People may argue, well, how does it matter? It depends on whether I'm selling a luxury item. Well, yeah, that is relative, but you have to also understand that online people don't have the ability to feel your product. So the more expensive the product, the most risk averse people are to buy the product, because they don't just simply have the comfort that they can walk in. Let's just assume a car company was selling a luxury car online, right? Unless you knew the car really well, would you really buy it, right? You wouldn't, and that's why probably people don't sell cars. So this concept, somewhere you need to draw the line between cost of the product does impact the mentality of the consumer buying online, right? And that's why commodity products would do better, whereas you have to really carefully consider how you plan to position more expensive products online, right? What's the risk for a customer to purchase online? Now this is tied to the previous point, but this also addresses more points like, do they have the comfort that like I talked about earlier about design, that of sharing the information with you, and how secure is your website, etc. What do you plan to do with their email address? All that should be very clear in your policies. And what's my recourse, right? If I buy a product, how do I make sure that I've got the right product, and how will you ensure that there's proper delivery? And if you don't, then can I refund it, or can I get a refund, or can I return your product? So you need to think about those things very clearly, and these are more important to think about than just your design, right, of your website. Ability to find your users online. Again, this is incredible how many people get this wrong, right? They blatantly invest in advertising online and e-marketing, and sometimes some e-marketing consultants just do take them on the wrong route. I have seen so many examples where the marketing is not targeted, and you may get a lot of clicks, but then that's not relevant traffic, right? If you've got an advertisement that's too generic, and person, say you're selling shoes, right, and the advertisement is showing a dress, or even whether you're selling dresses and shoes, and a person clicks on that advertisement, and then they're not getting exactly what they look for, right? So that is a concern, right? I mean, that's not going to really result in a conversion. That's going to probably result in what we call a high bounce rate, where people are just going to come to your page, hey, this is not what I expected when I clicked on the ad, and they're going to shut it, boom. So ability to find the right user online, in fact that should be reworded as that's important, right? What is your payment and refund policies, right? That's, as I've already mentioned, how important that is. You have to have efficient delivery, and as already mentioned, it's very important to make sure that there's an efficient production and supply chain in mind, where you're able to update your information, and you're able to launch marketing campaigns easily, without too much technical support, and you're able to get all these things done. Now this is obviously facilitated by our backend system and the technology, but at the same time it's something that you need to keep in mind. I will continue this discussion in yet another presentation that's going to conclude our discussion.